Had a great question from somebody. My parents always give me bad advice. But do they? Do they really? Roll it. Had a great coach call this weekend and had quite a few actually. It was great. Great experiences, great talks, great conversations, and it was quite enlightening to hear some viewpoints after making some of these videos to see how people are reacting to what they're seeing and then how they're looking at their life and wondering where they're kind of misinterpreting things. At the end of the day, asking for advice is hard, asking the right people for advice is hard, and this whole series has been about this. It's been about recognizing this whole idea behind how to ask the right way, and when we do get that advice, how do we move in the right direction? The biggest thing here is options. When you're asking somebody for advice, are they giving you options, or are they telling you what they think is best for you? In this case, parents usually, they don't give options. What they do is they look at who you are, they look at who they want you to be, and they look at the direction you're headed in. Then they simply give you advice based on where they want you to be heading in. This is based on wanting to get your child to the best they can be. Every parent's goal has to be, well, it should be. It's not for everybody, but it has to be that your kid does better than you. This is the ultimate happiness that a parent tries to achieve. And when we look at how our children are being raised by us and where they're headed and where we want them to be, we're gonna give advice based on our inner need to see them achieve the best they can. That's a little bit better than us. So if you're finding yourself that you're always dealing with your parents in a way where they're giving you advice you don't want to hear, it's probably because they're going in a direction where they want you to make the decision they would make. But the idea here is that their experiences, all the things they've gone through, those add up, and their advice is based on those. Now let's really look at this. If you're asking your parents about career and they never went through university, they're gonna give you the advice, the best advice they can give, and that is to finish university because that's what they want you to do. A lot of immigrants come to this country and we deal with a lot of that mentality when our parents are immigrants and they're like, go to school, go for math, become a doctor, become a lawyer, etc., etc., etc. Meanwhile, the kid's really creative and he wants to paint and they're like, there's no money in painting or in videos or in music or anything in the arts. They're gonna give you the advice based on that career, that security, because they came with no security. The place where they were at had no security, or else they wouldn't have moved there to come here. Opportunity was here to build that security. My parents did this and they're like, math, 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 math. Guess what I hate doing? Math. Am I good at it? You could say that. Would I strive to do something in it? Only if it really piques my interest. I'm not gonna be like one of my buddies who has 2 masters in financial mathematics and can do equations like you wouldn't believe and he enjoys it. However, at the end of the day, can I apply the stuff I did learn at university? Of course, I'm applying it every day. Did I need to go to university to do all this? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't be where I am today, but the idea here is, were there other paths to take to where I am today? Of course there were. Parents won't recognize that, they won't see that. So when we're looking at something like career advice, this is where you would be going and finding people that can help you with career advice. I always tell people, go onto LinkedIn, find 5 people who are doing something that you would want to do, message them and get that information of how they got there. Would they do it different? Is there better to do? Get mentors out of them. Because when you have all this information and you go back to your parents with all this information, the conversation will change. The conversation becomes, well, these 5 people told me these different things about this, and what do you guys think about all this? If your parents are well educated and they're sitting there going, go do this, go do that, the same thing will apply. It applies for any parent who wants to strive to see their child do the best they can do. And this doesn't just apply in careers, it applies in business too. I fell into that trap where I would ask my parents about this big ideas I had and they didn't actually understand the internet, the world outside of what they knew. Their businesses were people to people, word of mouth. Get the business moving. Get money coming into your pocket. You work every day for your 12 hours. These ideas, I had to go out and meet people who can teach me this. Then come back and be like, Dad, this is what happened. Mom, this is what happened. This is what they're telling me. And they're like, okay, well, I don't know much about it. So listen to them and teach me too. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. The whole conversation changes. It's amazing, really. It's the same thing with relationships too, where your parents will have had different experiences on their relationships, especially when you're coming from a culture that is really fixated in that culture, and you are coming to a multicultural society and you're seeing things that you want, but you still want to keep that balance. It's something where you need to go get that external help, that advice, bring it back to the table, and understand that if you're in that kind of an area, assimilation is bound to occur eventually. And if you're not in that typical situation, then the question really is, what were the experiences your parents had with specific type of people? How healthy is their relationship? And is it that idea that you want to have in your head, that options that they give you, that, you know, that advice they're giving you? Or is it advice from people that are having healthy marriages, healthy lives? Because at the end of the day, we need to analyze this and ask ourselves, are our parents giving us the advice we need? Or is it the advice that they think we need? And maybe, just maybe, certain advice is what we need from them, and other advice, it's not what we need, and we need to go find the right people to give us the right options so what we can decide, and from there use our integrity to move in the right direction. Because every decision we make is based on our values, and that stems to keeping them solid with our integrity. If you like this video, hit a like, hit subscribe. Give me your ideas behind what's, you know, advice with the parents and how that's worked out for you over the years and how it's changed as you've gotten older. Because people will be looking at it, looking for this kind of advice, and who knows, you might help change your life.